Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today to discuss the caregiving, Alzheimer's, and all other dementias domain for the Inland Empire Master Plan on Aging. Today's live stream is being brought to you by the Inland Coalition on Aging and Shield Healthcare. My name is Carmen Estrada, and I am the Executive Director of Inland Caregiver Resource Center, as well as the Treasurer of the Inland Coalition on Aging and the Advisory Committee Co-Chair of the IE-MPA. The Inland Coalition on Aging brings together agencies, professionals, and the community to work towards enhancing services for older adults, adults with disabilities, and caregivers in the Inland Empire. If this is the first time you are joining us, we began doing these live streams in July so that we could share with the community our progress in developing a local IE master plan for aging. Each month, we have been discussing a different component of the plan we are working on. This month, in honor of National Family Caregiver Month and Alzheimer's Awareness Month, we will be discussing both of these topics. When it comes to caregiving, it is estimated that 15% of the population in our country are informal caregivers, bringing in $800 billion of care without pay. That's more than Amazon, Walmart, and even Apple bring in a year. 5.5 million individuals in California are informal caregivers, and in the IE, they make up 16% of our population. With our 65 plus population projected to increase over 682%, the need for family caregivers is also going to increase. Is the IE prepared to meet the challenges of caregivers in our community? When it comes to Alzheimer's, the prevalence of Alzheimer's in the 65 plus population living in the IE is 12%. Alzheimer's kills more individuals than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. These statistics are alarming, and we aren't even touching on the disparities amongst people of color when it comes to caregiving and Alzheimer's. It was definitely crucial for us to include both of these topics in developing our local master plan for aging. Joining me to discuss these topics are Elizabeth, Susan, and Jamie. Elizabeth, can you introduce yourself, please, and share how you've been involved with
Hello.
the IE-MPA?
Hello. I've been a consultant for the Inland Coalition on Aging for the last 2 years. And as part of that role, I've conducted the needs assessment, which I'll talk a little bit about later on in this live stream. I also helped facilitate the working group discussions that we had over the course of several months, and I'm supporting the forthcoming master plan that's being developed.
Thank you for joining us, Elizabeth. Susan, you're with the Alzheimer's Association. Can you share a little bit about yourself and also why it was important for the association to be involved in the IE-MPA project?
So like you said, I'm with the Alzheimer's Association, and I oversee all of our care and support programs that are available to individuals currently living with Alzheimer's disease, as well as their caregivers. It's really important for the Alzheimer's Association to be involved with this master plan on aging. You know, we are a national organization, and we're deeply connected with those challenges and realities faced by, millions of individuals who are impacted by this disease on a daily basis. And locally, we see firsthand the experiences of those living with the disease, their family caregivers, and just this lack of just public knowledge. And we really want to be able to bring and highlight those needs and realities within this local Inland Empire setting.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Susan. And last but definitely not least, Jamie, you're with Shield Healthcare, a sponsoring partner and strong supporter of caregivers, as well as Alzheimer's care and the IE. Can you share about who Shield Healthcare is and why it's important for your organization to be involved in the development of the IE-MPA?
Absolutely. So, Shield Healthcare is a disposable medical provider. We've been part of the Inland Empire community since 1957. We provide disposable medical supplies for individuals with Medicare and Medi-Cal insurance, IEHP, and Molina Healthcare, for example. We provide incontinence supplies, CGM, or rather diabetic monitors, urology, advanced wound care, and oral nutrition. All of these supplies are crucial to helping folks, folks who are aging in place, so to speak, in the Inland Empire. So, and it's important for us at Shield Healthcare, and we really do pride ourselves on being the subject matter experts. And we feel very strongly that educating our community about health and community services is crucial for sure to the long-term well-being of our Inland Empire aging population.
Great. Thank you, Jamie, Susan, and Elizabeth for joining us. And so we'll get started with the discussion. First, Elizabeth, can you share some of the initial findings and objectives when, in developing this local master plan?
Definitely. So just to contextualize how we came across these findings, as part of the preliminary planning for the IE-MPA, we conducted a needs assessment. We held focus groups with diverse groups of people within the Inland Empire. We spoke with individuals who are English and Spanish speakers, those who are caregivers, LGBTQIA individuals, those who are African American and Hispanic or Latinx, veterans, unhoused and low-income individuals in rural areas, and also those who are disabled. So we spoke to a wide grouping of individuals. And we were also able to procure a survey about experiences of tribal elders within the community. And so all of this has gone into what we found and how the master plan is being informed. So for the focus groups, we spoke about people's experiences with housing, healthcare, behavioral health, and social support. So I'd check out some of the other live streams that we have if you're interested in those topics as well. Today, we're going to be talking about caregiving and Alzheimer's and dementia, though. So I'm going to review 3 key findings, focusing on those 2 topics, and then you can see how the findings from the needs assessment has gone on to contextualize how we're shaping the master plan for aging in the Inland Empire. So the first theme I'm focusing on and that we focused on was understanding who is considered a caregiver. So caregiving can take place in many different locations. It can be both institutional, such as a nursing facility or an adult day program, or it can be within a home setting, as Jamie talked about. Additionally, caregivers can include those who do it as a paid profession and those who are unpaid caregivers, such as family or friends, as Carmen talked about in the intro. Older adults can be caregivers as well. They can be caregivers to one another, they can be caregivers to adult children, and they can also be caregivers to grandchildren. So there's a lot of different dimensions to caregiving. Older adults can care for one another based on their varying abilities. For example, if one individual is able to drive or live with another and provide support to somebody who's experiencing dementia, that's what caregiving looks like between older adults. And caregiving, the act of it itself, is physical, but it's more than just physical. It can also mean spending time with somebody or managing their health care, or even finding out additional information about dementia and memory issues that they may be facing. So the act of caregiving and the time commitment can sometimes mean that caregivers lose their social support networks. So a caregiver stated, "We had a church family, but lately our world is getting smaller and smaller. I used to take my wife to church, but she would act up, and we've gotten to the point where we didn't want to do that anymore. Our world starts to shrink, and then pretty soon you're not seeing anybody because you're caregiving." And so that kind of encapsulates the experience of caregivers and some of the challenges that they face. So the second theme is the need for resources for caregivers and for those experiencing Alzheimer's and other dementias. Supportive care facilities can be challenging to get into, whether it be specifically for dementia or for memory care units, or whether it just be supportive care in general. There can be long wait lists and they can be expensive. Caregiver Resource Centers and Alzheimer's Association, though, provides really valuable information and support. So a lot of the individuals that we spoke with found that those were very useful places to go for information. However, sometimes navigating support and resources, even if they are accessible, can be overwhelming to a caregiver. We spoke with one caregiver who noted that they were so overwhelmed with what is going on, the act of caregiving, and then trying to get resources and navigate those resources, even if they are there, they can be hard to navigate and overwhelming. And so that's a discussion that we're going to have later on about how to navigate some of these resources. And then the third theme is focused specifically on understanding Alzheimer's and other dementias. The focus group participants used interchangeable and varying terms to understand memory loss. They talked of memory loss, lenguas, forgetfulness, dementia, Alzheimer's. All of these were used and sometimes interchangeably, even though they have very different meanings. Many people spoke about their experiences about caregiving for someone with memory loss, but had not considered what would happen when they faced memory loss or if they faced memory loss and those challenges that they would face themselves. A focus group participant observed people are not taught that we're going to age. You have to plan for aging. And so if you're not taught that you're going to age, then it's hard to plan for that. So people want more knowledge about Alzheimer's and other dementias. Those we spoke with noted doctors, resource centers, senior centers, all are good places to receive that knowledge and that support, along with the ICRC and the Alzheimer's Association. So in conclusion, there's already quite a few existing resources available pertaining to these three themes and surrounding caregiving, Alzheimer's, and other dementias. And so a key element of the Inland Empire Master Plan for Aging is to promote education and awareness of these resources. So we're going to talk about those a little more today.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. And you make some really important points. First, still the difficulty for caregivers to recognize themselves as caregivers, right? And then secondly, how difficult it is to navigate resources when you're caring for someone. Especially if you're caring for someone who has Alzheimer's and dementia, the struggle becomes even more, it's larger. So I'm glad that we have Susan and Jamie joining us today so they can share a little bit about those resources that they offer, because it's important to empower and to, really arm caregivers with the tools that they need so they can continue to provide the care. And then also to educate them on the illnesses that they are providing care for, because a lot of times, doctors are not able to spend a lot of time explaining Alzheimer's or dementia. And so it's left up to the family to kind of navigate those resources. So, Jamie, can you share how families can get in contact with Shield Healthcare if they're in need of some in-home, assistance, or not assistance, but supplies?
Absolutely. So the best way to reach out to us is just to contact us directly. We have a 1-800 number, and it'll pop up on the screen. It's 1-800-557-8797. And you can simply call in. We have an office here in the Inland Empire. We have a wonderful group of people who pick up that phone. So all you need to do is reach out, let them know, hi, I'm calling in to inquire about incontinence services, diabetic, oral nutrition. And what we do is we work directly with your doctor, your home health agency, if you're signed up with one, as well as your health plan. So for example, IE-HP, Molina, Medi, to secure the correct documentation needed to get the supplies that you need. So it's very quick, it's very easy. Again, we are the subject matter experts when it comes to disposable medical supplies. So as you can see on the screen, you just need to give us a call and we will basically take care of everything else.
You don't need to have a referral from a doctor if they have a question, or if maybe they're not sure if they need a certain medical supply. They can just reach out to Shield and Shield can.
Absolutely. Just give us a call. Again, we are the subject matter experts, so we will walk them through the process of what's needed to get the supplies that they need. If we receive a referral from the doctor directly, that's great, but families can always, always, always self-refer. Give us a call and let us know what the need is. And again, we will look into the insurance to see what benefits are available. And then we will move forward, like I said, with the doctor, the home health agency, or the insurance plan.
That's awesome, because I know a lot of times families, they don't even know who to turn to. And getting through to the doctor can sometimes take days, right?
Exactly.
To get a
And
response back if they have a question.
Right. So again, what we do is we reach out to the doctors. I myself, I am a sales rep, so I travel throughout the entire Inland Empire. So there's definitely times when I myself will walk into a doctor's office and say, I need help. I need this prescription. I need to get this back, please, because I have a client, a patient who desperately needs these supplies. So please give us a call, reach out, let us know what you need, and we will do our absolute very best to provide the supplies and the care.
Great. And now, Susan, Elizabeth mentioned that there is still, a lot of misconceptions on what normal aging is. Is it dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? Can you share how families can get in contact with the Alzheimer's Association if they're having maybe some doubts or maybe they've already had a diagnosis?
So anyone can contact the Alzheimer's Association in a way that's, most digestible for them. So we do have telephone helpline that's available 24/7, every day, every hour. And that is answered in over 200 different languages. We also have live chat features. So sometimes it's hard to actually have that conversation in front of, the person living with dementia, or maybe you're at work. So we do have a live chat function, and we also have email. So we can address anyone's needs at any time. And even though we're called the Alzheimer's Association, I think many people think that we only will address questions around Alzheimer's, but that's not the case. We're Alzheimer's and all other dementias, so vascular, Lewy body, Huntington's. We also are a good resource, again, to figure out what are those changes, and are those cognitive changes normal, not normal, how to get a diagnosis, how to initiate conversations with both the physician as well as the person that's kind of beginning to express some of those changes. And recently, there's been a lot of research around healthy habits for your brain as well. And these might be healthy habits that actually could mitigate some risk for cognitive decline in later life. So there are a whole variety of topics that we would like to address with individuals, just to get them factual, kind of research-based information to the average person. What I will say one more time about our helpline is that this is great for any question. I need a support group. I need the 10 warning signs. I need a neurologist. I need, what are things I can do to help my brain now? To really those larger, overwhelming questions that we know our caregivers face on a daily basis. So at 2 a.m., we have caregivers who call and say, I just can't take it one more minute. And these are all free services. I know we're coming up towards a holiday, and I had one caregiver tell me, it was my first Thanksgiving without my husband. I had just placed him. I called the helpline and I cried for an hour. And you know what? Another holiday's coming up, and I'm going to go ahead and call the helpline and probably cry for another hour. But this is just a confidential, supportive, free service that is available to anyone.
Great. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, definitely during the holidays, things can get a little bit more challenging, and a lot of different feelings arise because roles change, and so Thanksgiving and Christmas, the way you celebrated it before, might be different now. So definitely a great resource. And another thing Elizabeth mentioned, was individuals not knowing if they are caregivers, or not seeing themselves as caregivers. And so, Inland Caregiver Resource Center is another resource out in the community for those individuals who are thinking, am I a caregiver yet? Am I not a caregiver? Another point that Elizabeth made was planning, right? We are not taught that we are going to age. So the sooner that you find out about these resources, like Alzheimer's Association, SHIELD, and Inland Caregiver Resource Center, the better. At Inland Caregiver Resource Center, we offer families and the community support and resources pertaining to being a caregiver. And also, if you're not a caregiver, maybe you're living alone and need some in-home assistance, we offer an array of free services. Also, like the Alzheimer's Association and SHIELD, we have support groups, classes, respite to give you a break from caregiving. And for those seniors that are living alone, we also offer homemaker and personal care assistance. And again, like SHIELD and like Alzheimer's Association, we are a phone call away. You could reach us at 800-675-6694 or visit our website to get connected. It's important to learn about the resources, call ahead of, earlier rather than later, so that you can arm yourself with the tools if you are providing care, or if you will be providing care. So thanks again to Susan and to Jamie. Now, what are you most excited about, Susan? I know you and I have been co-chairing the Alzheimer's and all their dementia and caregiving work group. What are you most excited about that will be in the plan?
Probably a couple things that give me great deal of excitement. So I hope I can just keep it to a few. But I really like this whole idea of building dementia capacity within existing systems. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Here we represent a great array of resources for family caregivers. So we don't need to add another, we just need to build depth and increase knowledge that we all exist and what we can do to help support family caregivers. I also really like this idea of moving a little bit beyond what is the traditional aging network. How do we look at other sectors that interact with caregivers, with people living with dementia, those impacted? These could be financial institutions. These could be, it's law enforcement or first responders. So again, strengthening that safety net for everyone in our community. And then, of course, to me, knowledge is power. So I love the idea of a public awareness campaign, whether it's to increase, knowledge around what exists, what I have access to, or what might be on my radar for the future. And it really is that idea, how do you access care that's, the right care with the right people in the right place at the right time? So how can we kind of empower people to kind of benefit and thrive both as caregivers as well as those living with dementia? So just a few things. I could keep going on, but I'll stop.
And I'll share, what is most exciting to me is actually what's happening now. Different organizations coming together to work together with the common, vision, with the common goal of really enhancing services for our aging community. And we are all involved in this community. We should all include ourselves. A lot of times we think of aging as our parents or our grandparents, but in reality, we are all aging. Every day we are aging. So I believe what's most exciting to me is this movement that we've created in the Inland Empire, to join together so that we can improve aging together as a whole, and not in silos, right? Because the IE is resource rich when it comes to services, and we need to do a better job at working together. And so I like how Susan, Jamie both agreed to participate in our live stream, because it shows, we're working together, and we have that common goal. And so before we end the live stream, though, we do have something exciting that's going on, that Shield Healthcare, they have a caregiver contest every year. Jamie, can you share more about that?
Yes, I'm excited to. So, this is our 22nd year of hosting our Caregiver Story Contest. It is a wonderful contest. Everybody and anybody is welcome to participate. You do not have to be on service with Shield Healthcare. So, again, this is open to everybody. We ask that you please share a story in 300 words or more on what motivates you to be a caregiver. Please remember, there is no right or wrong answer. It's simply whatever motivates you to provide the care that you give, whether you're an existing caregiver or you've cared for somebody in the past. There are some wonderful prizes to be won. So, for example, there's going to be 3 grand prize winners. It's a $1,000 Visa gift card. Who wouldn't want a $1,000 Visa gift card? That's awesome. And then we've got 5 runner-ups who will receive, I believe, a $250 Visa gift card. So this is free money that you can win for simply sending in your essay on what motivates you to be a caregiver. And there's 3 ways that you can get that essay to us. We have a website, and the link is provided. You can email it to us directly, or you can send it through the mail.
Thank you. That is so amazing. This is, you said, the 22nd year. And let me tell you that this is true. We've had different clients from ICRC participate, and they've won. And always around the holidays, it comes in perfectly, that little extra cash. And it's just to share the work that you're already doing, right? Share why
Exactly.
you provide care. So we encourage all of you caregivers to participate. And again, thank you all for joining us as we work together in developing an IE-MPA. Our next live stream will be in December, and we will be discussing behavioral health and social supports amongst caregivers, older adults, and adults with disabilities. Happy holidays. If I'm sure we'll do the live stream before Christmas, though. So for now, just happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.